deported, targeted, forced to leave. Filipinos across Europe are being rounded up in mass immigration sweeps, ripped from their homes, arrested at workplaces, and sent back against their will. And guess what? It's only getting worse. Stay till the end, because country number 1 just passed the most extreme policy yet. You won't believe who's getting deported next. Smash that like button if you think Filipinos deserve better treatment. Greece has officially declared war on undocumented migrants. This isn't just policy, it's a full-blown purge. Armed police raids, mass deportations, zero tolerance for overstayers, and it's happening right now. Every day, government-approved sweeps are tearing through neighborhoods. No warning, no mercy. If you're undocumented, you're out, whether you've been here for 10 days or 10 years. For thousands of Filipinos who built their lives in Greece, the dream is turning into a nightmare. Families are being split apart overnight. People who worked hard, paid taxes, and contributed to society? It doesn't matter. If your papers aren't in order, you're being thrown out. One chilling case, a Filipina caregiver who spent 15 years taking care of Greek elders, was dragged from her apartment at dawn. No time to pack. No time to say goodbye. Just a one-way ticket back to the Philippines. Is this justice, or a human rights disaster? Greek officials defend the crackdown, saying the country is drowning in illegal migration. They claim these mass removals are necessary to protect national identity and restore order. But critics argue this is nothing more than a scapegoat strategy, blaming migrants for Greece's economic struggles. And here's the real controversy. Some Greek citizens support the purge. They say it's about time the government took a hard stance. Others? They're outraged, calling it a humanitarian crisis in the making. So what do you think? Does Greece have the right to go this far, or is this an abuse of power? Comment below. Let's hear your thoughts. And don't go anywhere, we're just getting started. The next country on this list? You won't believe what they're doing to migrants. Stay tuned. Sweden used to be a safe haven for migrants, a country that prided itself on open borders and humanitarian values. But now, that dream is dead. Mass deportations, ruthless policy changes. Even legal migrants are under review. For decades, Sweden welcomed thousands of Filipinos, offering opportunities and a fresh start. But today, that same country is turning its back on them. Families that spent years building their lives here are being torn apart overnight. One shocking case, a Filipino father who had lived in Sweden for 17 years, fully employed, paying taxes, was suddenly ordered to leave. His crime? A minor paperwork error from a decade ago. His wife and kids? Swedish citizens. But the government didn't care. They gave him 2 weeks to pack up and disappear. This isn't just about illegal migration anymore. Even those who followed the rules are finding themselves on the chopping block. Sweden's new policies mean no one is safe. So why the drastic shift? The government claims it's about national security and protecting Swedish values. But critics argue this is nothing more than a political stunt, a desperate move to win over anti-immigrant voters. And here's where it gets even more controversial. Some Swedes support these harsh policies, saying migration has put too much strain on their economy and social services. Others? They're calling it a national disgrace. So now we turn to you. Should Filipinos and other migrants be worried about Sweden's shift? Or is this just Sweden taking back control of its borders? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is fair, or a betrayal of Sweden's values? And don't leave yet. The next country on this list? What they're doing to migrants is even more shocking. Stay tuned. The UK is making one thing brutally clear. If you're a foreigner with visa issues, you're out. This isn't just about criminals or illegal migrants anymore. Even minor infractions, small mistakes, can get you deported. Missed a visa renewal by a few days? Gone. Your employer messed up your paperwork? Too bad. Overstayed by just a week? No second chances. Filipinos who have lived and worked in the UK for years are suddenly being hunted down, detained, and thrown out. Take Maria Santiago. She came to the UK as a caregiver, dedicating 12 years of her life to taking care of British elderly. She followed the rules, paid her taxes, and never broke a single law. But when her employer failed to process her visa renewal on time, the UK government didn't care. One morning, immigration officers knocked on her door. They gave her 1 hour to pack her bags. No appeal, no second chance. Her British-born son watched in tears as his mother was dragged away, treated like a criminal for a paperwork delay. So what's going on? Why is the UK cracking down so aggressively? The British government claims it's all about immigration control and protecting local jobs. They argue that overstayers, no matter the reason, are a burden on taxpayers. But critics say this is targeted discrimination, disproportionately affecting non-European migrants, especially Filipinos. If this is your first time here, we break down the real stories behind global immigration crises. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you stay ahead of the facts. And here's the real controversy. Some British citizens support this harsh approach, saying it's necessary to fix the country's immigration system. Others? They're outraged, calling it a betrayal of the UK's long-standing reputation as a diverse, welcoming nation. So we need to hear from you. Is this just strict immigration enforcement, or is the UK unfairly targeting Filipinos and other non-Western migrants? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think these deportations are justified, or is this an abuse of power? And don't go anywhere. The next country on this list? What they're doing to migrants is even more extreme. Stay tuned. Imagine sleeping peacefully, then suddenly boom, your front door is kicked down. Within seconds, uniformed officers storm inside, flashlights blinding you as they drag you from your bed. This isn't a movie. This is real life in Italy. Italy's immigration police are carrying out midnight raids, pulling people from their homes, detaining them and deporting them fast. No warnings. No appeals. Just gone. What? Because Italy has introduced a ruthless, fast-track deportation system. Migrants, especially those from the Philippines, Africa and South Asia, now have less time than ever to fight back. If you think this is shocking, keep watching, because the way these raids are happening is even worse. Take Rafael Cruz, a Filipino restaurant worker in Milan. For years he lived legally in Italy, supporting his family back home. But when his employer failed to renew his work permit on time, the government labeled him an illegal migrant. One night, immigration officers broke into his apartment. His roommates were forced against the wall. Rafael had no time to call a lawyer, no time to explain. Within hours, he was on a plane back to Manila. His entire life in Italy wiped out in one night. Even legal migrants are at risk if their paperwork isn't perfect. Critics argue that Italy is purging foreigners, using bureaucracy as a weapon to deport hardworking people who have contributed to society for years. The Italian government defends its actions, claiming that these raids are about national security and controlling illegal immigration. Supporters say it's necessary to protect Italian jobs and crack down on undocumented workers. But human rights activists call it state-sponsored terror. They argue that ripping people from their homes in the dead of night is not just aggressive, it's a violation of basic human dignity. So what do you think? Should countries have the right to conduct these surprise raids, or is this an abuse of power? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you think the world needs to hear about this, smash that like button. It helps this video reach more people and spread awareness about what's really happening. And don't go anywhere. The next country on this list? Their immigration crackdown is even more extreme. Stay tuned. France has officially turned into a no-go zone for undocumented Filipinos. If you don't have the right papers, you're already being watched. Oh, artificial intelligence. The French government has unleashed AI-driven surveillance systems that track overstayers in real time. Security cameras, facial recognition, and data tracking now monitor every move, every transaction, every border crossing. And the results? Deportation rates have tripled. Daniel Ramos, a Filipino construction worker in Paris. He arrived legally, but when his visa expired, he decided to stay. He worked hard, paid rent, and kept his head down, until AI flagged him. One morning, police showed up at his work site. His face had been matched to an expired visa. No warnings. No court appeals. Just handcuffs and a one-way ticket back to Manila. This isn't just happening to a few people. Thousands of undocumented workers, many of them Filipino, are being tracked, identified, and expelled faster than ever before. The big question: fair policy or political game? The French government defends these mass deportations, arguing that illegal immigration burdens the economy and increases security risks. Supporters say AI technology is just enforcing the law, nothing more. But critics say this isn't about law and order, it's about politics. France's government is under pressure to appear tough on immigration, especially with rising tensions across Europe. So what do you think? Is this a necessary crackdown, or just political theater? Debate below. And if you think the world needs to know about this, hit that like button. The more people see this, the more we expose what's happening. And don't go anywhere. The next country on this list? Their immigration crackdown is even more ruthless. Stay tuned. Spain has just made one thing clear: There are no warnings, no second chances. If you overstay your visa, even by a day, you're out. How fast? 48 hours. That's all you get. No time to fight back. No time to appeal. If immigration catches you, you're already on the next flight home. And here's the shocking part. This isn't just happening to undocumented migrants. Even tourists who accidentally overstay, workers with visa delays, and families who have lived in Spain for years are getting swept up in the mass deportation wave. Isabel, a Filipina domestic worker in Barcelona. She spent years cleaning homes, cooking meals, and raising Spanish children as if they were her own. She applied for a visa renewal, but delays at immigration left her undocumented for just a few weeks. Then, in the middle of the night, immigration police knocked on her door. No hearing, no warning, no time to explain. She was given 10 minutes to pack her things before being taken straight to the airport. Her employers, who relied on her every day, begged officials to reconsider. It didn't matter. Within hours, Isabel was deported. Her years of dedication, her life in Spain, gone. The Spanish government defends this policy, saying the 48-hour rule is necessary to control illegal immigration and prevent people from vanishing into the system. But critics call it inhumane. Not everyone overstays on purpose. Some, like Isabel, are caught in bureaucratic delays. Should hardworking people be treated like criminals for a piece of paper? Spain's policy is already influencing other European countries. Governments across the EU are watching closely, considering similar extreme measures. So, is Spain being too harsh? Or is this the future of global immigration? Drop your opinion in the comments. And if you believe the world needs to hear about this, smash that like button. More likes mean more people see this and the truth gets out. And don't go anywhere. The next country on this list? Their immigration crackdown makes this look mild. Stay tuned. Germany just made a decision that will shake the immigrant community to its core. For years, this country was seen as a safe haven, a place where hardworking migrants could build their dreams. Not anymore. New laws just made it impossible for overstayers to fix their status. No more legal pathways, no more second chances. And Filipinos? Even those who've spent decades in Germany are being ripped from their homes and forced out. Deportations have tripled. And if you think you can return once you fix your paperwork, think again. Meet Ana Reyes, a Filipina nurse in Berlin. She's worked tirelessly for 12 years, caring for German patients, paying taxes, and raising her son, who was born in Germany. But when her visa renewal got delayed due to government backlogs, her status lapsed. Just a few weeks. Then one morning, boom. A knock on her door. You have 48 hours to leave the country. If you resist, you'll be detained. Her German-born son, who's never even set foot in the Philippines, had no choice but to pack his bags. His school, his friends, his entire life, gone. Ana begged for time. She pleaded with authorities. Her employer even stepped in, offering to vouch for her. None of it mattered. Within 2 days, Ana and her son were on a flight back to a country that no longer felt like home. Germany's government says it's cracking down to protect jobs and social services. But let's be real, this isn't just about illegal immigration anymore. Even legal, hardworking migrants are being caught in the crossfire. One mistake, one delay, and your entire life is wiped away. And here's the most terrifying part. This isn't just happening in Germany. Countries across Europe are watching and considering similar policies. Is Germany making the right call? Or is this a betrayal of the very people who helped build their economy? Comment below, should Germany rethink its stance? Let's get this debate going. If you believe more people need to know about this, smash that like button. More likes mean more people see this, and the truth gets out. New to the channel? Don't just watch, join the conversation. Hit subscribe now and stay updated on the biggest global stories. And don't go anywhere. The next country on this list? Their immigration crackdown makes Germany's look like child's play. Stay tuned. The Netherlands was supposed to be a fresh start. A place where hardworking migrants could build a future. But for many Filipinos, it has turned into a nightmare. New AI-driven border tracking has turned the Netherlands into a migrant hunting machine. Deportation squads know exactly where you are. You don't get a warning. You get a one-way ticket out. And the worst part? You don't even see it coming. For Lena Santos, the Netherlands was home. She worked 2 jobs, sent money back to her family in Manila, and even started a small bakery. Her daughter, Elena, was born here. They had nothing left in the Philippines. This was their life. But one visa renewal delay, just a few weeks, and suddenly she was an illegal. One morning, as Lena was walking Elena to school, a black van pulled up. Authorities stepped out. They had her name, her records, her expired visa, and a deportation notice. She begged, "Please, my daughter. She doesn't even speak Tagalog. She was born here." The officer didn't even blink. "You have 24 hours. That night, Lena held Elena close as she packed their bags. Elena cried herself to sleep, whispering, "Mama, I don't want to leave." But the system didn't care. The next day, they were escorted to the airport. A lifetime in the Netherlands erased in an instant. As the plane took off, Elena pressed her face against the window. Her home, her school, her entire world, shrinking beneath the clouds. A life erased, a future stolen. The Dutch government says it's about controlling immigration. But let's be honest, this isn't just about overstayers. The Netherlands has quietly shut down pathways for legal migrants to fix their status. Instead of giving people time to adjust, they just kick them out. The AI-driven border system? It doesn't see people. It sees numbers. And thousands of Filipinos are disappearing from the system overnight. Lena's story isn't unique. It's happening every single day. Quietly. Efficiently. Without mercy. And here's the scariest part. Other countries are taking notes. If you think the Netherlands is bad, wait until you see what's happening next. Has the Netherlands gone too far? Or is this the future of immigration? Comment below. If you believe people need to know about this, smash that like button. More likes mean more people see this, and the truth gets out. And if you're new here, don't just watch, join the movement. Because what's happening in the next country on this list? It makes the Netherlands look merciful. Stay tuned. Denmark was once a dream destination. A place where migrants could work hard, build a life, and secure a future. But that dream has turned into a nightmare, one that's getting worse by the day. Denmark isn't just deporting people anymore. It's outsourcing them. Undocumented migrants, and even those who've lived here legally for years, are being forcibly sent to third countries. No second chances. No appeals. Just a one-way trip to a country they've never even stepped foot in. For Arlene Diaz, Denmark was home. She came here on a work visa, met her husband, and built a family. She spent over a decade working as a caregiver, paying taxes, contributing to society. Her youngest child, Lucas, was born in Copenhagen. Denmark was the only world he knew. But when Arlene's visa extension got delayed due to bureaucratic red tape, her legal status was suddenly under review. And that's when her nightmare began. One cold morning, immigration officers knocked on her door. They weren't just there to check her papers. They had a deportation order. "You've been selected for Denmark's third country processing program," they said. Arlene was confused. "Third country? I don't have any ties anywhere else." The officer barely made eye contact. "Your case has been transferred to Rwanda." Rwanda. A country she had never been to. A country where she had no family, no connections. Nothing. She tried to argue, "But my son was born here. My husband is Danish." The officer didn't care. "Your appeal has been denied." Within 48 hours, Arlene and Lucas were put on a plane. Lucas, just 6 years old, clutched his stuffed bear, confused and scared. His home, his school, his friends, gone in an instant. As the plane took off, Arlene looked out the window, watching everything she built disappear beneath the clouds. Denmark claims this policy is about deterring illegal immigration. But let's be honest, this is beyond strict. This is ruthless. Even legal migrants are being caught in the crackdown. It's no longer about just targeting overstayers. It's about making Denmark as unwelcoming as possible. And here's the scary part. Other European nations are considering the same approach. The Netherlands, France, Germany. If Denmark gets away with this, who's next? Has Denmark gone too far? Or is this the new reality of immigration? Drop your opinion in the comments now. If you believe the world needs to hear about this, smash that like button. The more likes, the more people get informed. And stay tuned, because the next country on this list? Their crackdown makes this look like a warm-up. Norway has officially declared war on undocumented migrants. The country just passed its most unforgiving immigration law in history, and the impact is instant, brutal, and irreversible. Mass deportation squads are sweeping the country right now. They strike in the dead of night, knocking on doors, or kicking them down. There's no warning, no appeal, no second chances. If your name is on the list, you're gone. And if you're not home, they'll find you. For Samuel Ortega, a Filipino engineer who had spent 6 years in Norway, the nightmare began at 4 a.m. He awoke to the sound of fists pounding on his door. "Open up, immigration police." The voices were sharp, cold, final. Samuel's stomach dropped. He had followed every rule, except one. A single visa renewal delay caused by a clerical error. That was all it took. He opened the door, praying for mercy. He found none. You have 10 minutes to gather your belongings. 10 minutes. 6 years of life, reduced to a suitcase. No chance to call his employer. No time to say goodbye. As he was dragged outside, his neighbors watched from behind their curtains, too afraid to speak, too afraid to help. And this is just the beginning. Norway's new policy doesn't just target the undocumented, it hunts them down. New surveillance systems scan public transport, rental records, even hospital visits for anyone flagged as an overstayer. Nowhere is safe. For years, Norway was seen as a beacon of human rights. Now, it's the epicenter of fear. Parents are sending their children to school, unsure if they'll be there when they return. Families are sleeping with their bags packed, ready to flee at a moment's notice. But here's the real question. Is this just Norway? Or is this the new reality for migrants worldwide? Do you think Norway has gone too far? Or is this the future of immigration enforcement? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you think people need to see what's really happening, smash that like button. Because if this is where we are now, what comes next?